Hello and welcome to today's 5-Minute Friday. I'm delighted today to be joined by David Whitfield, who is the founder and chief executive of HR DataHub. David, we're going to be talking today about diversity and inclusion, which is a subject really close to your heart and particularly relevant this week as we have the anniversary of the George Floyd death, which has led to so much of a conversation around diversity and inclusion in the workplace. David, just to level set, just quickly give an overview of HR DataHub and what you guys do.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. So we're an online benchmarking platform. We provide external benchmarking data for the HR community. We cover all areas of HR. So we cover reward, diversity, engagement, recruitment, etc. Really simple platform. Our customers can go on and benchmark any aspect of HR in a really easy, friendly way.
And what I love is effectively your business model is democratizing benchmarking data. And what I've seen in the time I've known you is just phenomenal take up as we've seen the world's biggest and smaller organizations signing up onto HR data. And I think you've got over to 400 customers now. So the data set is really growing in the platform.
And it's incredible. It's incredible, Chris. Thank you. Yeah, the companies that we've got and we've retained over the last couple of years and the support we've had has been amazing.
So, David, I want to talk a bit about diversity and inclusion and the findings from your latest bit of research around the ethnicity pay gap. And so it'd be great if you just share some of those key findings.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. So we've been looking at this subject for well over a year now, and certainly before the tragic events of George Floyd, just helping companies to understand exactly where they are in terms of ethnicity pay gap and what they can do to make a real difference. We've got 120 companies that have data on our platform. So all of our members can go in and dynamically look at each of the different metrics that we have, and we cover about 30 or 40 different metrics on the platform to see how they are performing in terms of ethnicity pay gap. And we cover really important issues, and fundamentally the conversation I always get to is around disclosure. So disclosure rates are really important. So making sure you understand exactly what's happening in your organization, building the trust for your colleagues to step forward and say, yeah, this is where I am, and be able to then do the analysis based on that. And we're able to shine a light on the areas that the companies really need to focus on. So we cover disclosure rates, median ethnicity pay gap, representation, and we're not just talking about representation overall, we're talking about representation by level and below board, which most of the studies I look at tend to be board level, but we go right through the organization, which is, again, is really quite important for people to look at. And also, we go beyond that to look at what measures companies are putting in place and how effective they are at actually improving ethnicity pay gap within the organization. So we've identified over 25 measures that companies want to look at.
And what have you found so far from the research that you've been doing?
We found quite a large disconnect actually to some of the research that the government have done over the last couple of months. So I know a lot of people would have seen the Race Commission results. So they're quoting 2.3% as being the ethnicity pay gap in the UK. We have seen the gap at least 12% from the companies that have submitted data. So far higher and actually more in line with the gender pay gap. Really quite concerning. And we're seeing, in terms of representation, we're seeing a disproportionate amount of people of ethnicity in the lower paid roles in the organisation, which is hugely disheartening for us because we want to see representation right across the different levels within the companies.
So David, can I just ask a quick question? So explain to me, how can it be that the government are producing a figure of around 2% as being the ethnicity pay gap, and yet your data is showing it's over 12%?
Yeah, it's a really good question. And obviously the statistical methods are slightly different. The government collect their information from the ASH survey and the labour force survey. We take our data directly and 100% from the companies that submit the data to us. So we can analyse the information and we can justify the pay gap from that data source far more credibly than the government can. And 12% is still, I mean, 1% is too high, but 12% is something we've got a real problem in the UK that we need to try and fix.
And so taking the data that you've got, how do companies use that data to be able to drive change and to make a difference?
Yeah, it's a really good question. So what they can do is they can look at which areas across 30 or 40 different metrics that we've had where they're not quite performing with their external peers. So we almost think like a traffic light signal. So you have lots of greens, some ambers, and then some reds, and really focus in on those areas which are red. Maybe those areas that maybe in recruitment, maybe the way you're promoting people, succession planning, how you're getting people into those board level roles, and how they are then role modeling those experiences through the organization. And the great thing is we've built an amazing community, so people can connect online through our community hub, they can join our forums, so they can really learn from each other. So where one company is green and doing an amazing job in recruitment, they can share those case studies and stories with other companies. People in HR, I mean, they're really super passionate about this subject. There's no competition here. Everybody just wants to do the right thing, which is amazing. And we're just here to try and connect those people and those stories.
Brilliant. Well, David, I actually love what you're doing and the power of using data to actually make change. And so for anybody who's watching this who thinks I'd love to be part of this movement, how would they go about it?
Well, it's really simple. We are providing a 2 days free access to HR DataHub. So come forward, let's have a conversation. We'll get you on board, have a look at the platform, and more importantly, take a look at the data and our research and see what you think. So really quite simple, couple of days access and get looking at the research.
Brilliant. David Whitfield, thank you so much.
Thanks, Chris.